All right, people, it is time. The torpedoes are in the water. The White House has launched a full spread and it's going towards HMS Team Blue. And it's going to be real bad real quick because the fraud report that they just dropped out of the Housing and Urban Development is an additional issue, which is going to have a whole lot of tie-in, particularly when you talk about all the increases on rent pricing that's going around. You know, that whole affordability thing. Yeah, the White House is taking the gloves off, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's about time some people get called on the carpet for this kind of crap, and you're going to love every second of this one, so please, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you are indeed enjoying the content, want to join the mission of spreading out liberty nowhere where we find it across the fruited plain, bringing on the next generation, and then basically saving the country together. It's a big task, but somebody's got to do it, and we're going to make it all happen right now. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, man. How was that for an intro? All right, I must be eating my Wheaties in the morning because we are about to blow this thing up. It is going to be incredibly spicy. So make sure you hit that like button, like I said, comments, chats, emojis, make the world go round. And as you get in here, make sure the audio and video is working. Looks like it is. This one is going to make, you know what? I say jaw drop too much because there's just too much of that. It's going to make your eyes pop out of your head because what they just released is like a full salvo, full torpedo spread. It is going right towards, HMS's Her Majesty's ships. The USS Libby, because it's going to be so bad. Oh man, oh God, this is going to be one hell of a fun year, and we are in it together. So let's get it. Of course, the comments, the chats, the emojis has got to go in here. And then we are off to the races. Emojis make the world go round. All right, it is posted, and you guys know what to do. Once it is pinned, once it is posted, we are off to the races, and the early bird catches the worm. So if they're not here, they'll catch up. All right, listen, we always start these things off with an amazing appetizer, something that's built in a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of humor, a whole lot of stupid. It makes for an amazing introduction into the machine. Get the whole thing going for this live stream. Well, this is right up our alley. I mean, like, mainline this, goodness gracious. Here we go. Watch this. It turns out that the lefties at the Politico are not too happy with Nick Shirley's reporting exposing all this Somali fraud in Minnesota and the egregious $18 billion potential boondoggle that's happening. And so now they're saying they should just get shot. The people who push for gun control laws on the regular and blame you and I for everything that goes wrong when a criminal uses a gun are now advocating for stand your ground laws to be used to kill citizen journalists. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Here you go. Politico's senior legal affairs reporter just suggested daycare centers might be justified in shooting citizen journalists for knocking on their doors. Oh, we're going to have fun with this one in a second, but let's continue. Legacy media is full of deranged frickin' lunatics. They're pissed off, we've taken away their power, and they're losers. I kind of agree with all that sentiment. Here's the actual post, and just for reference before we keep going. At some point, the amateur effort to knock on doors of home daycares intersects with robust stand your ground laws. Yeah, that translates to someone's going to shoot them. That's what that means, okay? This is, again, the people who pound on our brains about how that we can't have our Second Amendment rights because, criminals are going to criminal, but here they are advocating for more murder. I mean, like, who doesn't love a lefty? Oh, my God. Here we go. All right, let's keep on going. Again, I told you this was right up my alley. We're about to crack open the can of expertise in history real quick. Watch this. If you are not familiar, let me give you a crash course. Moms demand action. That's a fun one. But basically, you have to understand what you're dealing with here. And as you guys get in here, of course, like button, notifications, comments, the more you engage, the more it goes around that notification, accidental blackout. Yeah, all right, here you go. High level. My gun people are going to be like, yep, we know. People who are new to the channel and new to the environment, here's a high level primer. So there's two different types of laws you can do, and you get to basically put on the books. You can have blue version and red version. The blue version of when someone breaks into your home and you have a firearm is called duty to retreat. What duty to retreat means is someone breaks into your house, your family is there, your possessions are there, you're there. If you don't jump out the window behind you and you self-defend in any way, shape, or form leading to the death or injury of that person, you're getting arrested, not them. Stand your ground laws are the red version, which means you come into my house, we'll take care of the problem ourselves, the police will come, we'll give a high five, say sorry for the trouble, and you're good to go. That's the juxtaposition, okay? Now, Here is what is so interesting. I love hypocrisy on the left because Moms Demand Action is actually not an inappropriate website. It's actually a really, really big gun control organization that was acquired by Everytown for Gun Safety. Here they are whining and complaining about how stand your ground laws or shoot first laws are an egregious affront to everything and how bad and evil they are. And here's another one that says the deadly consequences of Florida's stand your ground law. I love me some hypocrisy. And all my gun people in the chat, jump in here because you guys know we hit this pretty hard whenever it comes up. But this right here is Lefty 101. Okay? You're going to complain and bitch and moan about the fact that people have Second Amendment rights and they would dare defend themselves when a criminal breaks into their home and they defend themselves from said criminal. That's a shoot first murder law. Citizen journalist goes up into Minnesota, knocks on a door and says, can we see children for the daycare to put my kid in there? And then you want to shoot them. You know, I'm catching a theme here, and it always ends up with lefties wanting to shoot people. It's weird. It's weird. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but I'm seeing the comments, the chats. My gun people are absolutely here. My 2A people, my 2A patriots and advocates. We've been through this together, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And if you are one of the new people, you just got a crash course in lefty hypocrisy around gun control. All right, people, we got so much to do. It is crazy. Share this, send this, because people need to know. And this one gets a special spotlight. That's why it's in the beginning here. This is from an account called @Desert Gator. Desert Gator tagged me and said I called it. So of course I was intrigued. And it turns out that it was a CNN report all about the fact that it's not a problem we discovered fraud, it's a problem who discovered it. And then we've known about fraud forever. It's not a big surprise, so why are we surprised? Guys, you cannot make this stuff up. And I'm only at the beginning of this episode. There's a lot of tabs of freedom up there, and we are about to go on a safari. I will do my best to bring you through. All right, let me hear the emojis in the chats on this BS storm that's about to drop. We're going to have some fun with this one.
Right now, Republican lawmakers are asking Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz to resign after renewed focus on a state fraud investigation. A viral YouTube video by a creator who has shared anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim videos in the past put a major national spotlight on the...
Catch that? A video, a creator who has done major anti-immigration and anti-everything videos in the past. But anyway, it's unrelated. He made this video and put a big spotlight on it. You see how they're doing this? The problem is not the fraud. The problem is not the issue. The problem is how dare he report on it. Again, my God, you can't make this stuff up. And I haven't even gotten to the White House dropping bombs. Okay, let's keep on going. I mean, not literal, not Venezuela. This is like hypothetical bombs. Okay.
Investigation. The video claims Somali-run child care centers in Minnesota are committing widespread fraud and provides limited evidence to support the allegations. It was a video that was amplified by Vice President J.D. Vance, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Elon Musk. Now, the FBI and DHS say they are surging resources into Minnesota, including at those child care centers. CNN's Whitney Wild is in Minneapolis. And Whitney, what are you hearing from officials there?
Okay, as you can see, the little Ken Barbie doll on the left with this skinny tie is very concerned in his blazer. Very, very concerned on CNN. Guys, it's all in the language, okay? Everything is in language. It's all in the details. It's all in the nuance. That's why I cover all the things. I do 3 videos a day because there's so much. It's so rich once you identify it and you capitalize on it. What did they just say? Why did they say that? Oh, because of these things, okay? The stand your ground law stuff, the duty to retreat stuff, the language he just used. A citizen YouTuber allegedly accuses fraud with very scant evidence, and he's done anti-immigrant things before, but he's provided no evidence. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, Mr. I'm a hunter, I'm a man's man, dancing around, hope and joy during the election when he got smoked, was literally on camera saying, yeah, we've been doing this for a while. People are arrested. Fraud's obviously rampant. It's an issue. And then he gives out more subsidies and more entitlements. But other than that, yeah, it's just scant evidence. No, like you're seeing it in real time. Okay. All right, listen to this esteemed journalist in the snow. Watch this. I almost said this chick. That's bad. Can't do that.
Well, there's one agency saying basically today that they are concerned about some of the tactics that the video shows, but at the same time, they take all allegations of fraud seriously. This has been a problem in Minnesota for many, many years. You can look it up yourself. There are stories about, alleged fraud at daycares stretching as far back as 2015. There were a round of indictments back then. Fraud continues to simply plague the Minneapolis area and Minnesota at large. There have been, in recent years, Phil, dozens of indictments, at least 80, for various types of fraud, COVID relief fraud, other types of housing fraud. And federal officials basically call this like an ongoing fraud investigation. If you look, the latest press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Minnesota says 6 more indictments in this ongoing fraud investigation. So this has been going on for quite some time. Local news has been all over this, producing award-winning series on fraud issues in Minnesota. But even still, it wasn't until, as you point out, that video that this fraud issue in Minnesota really exploded. I mean, that video for Nick Shirley has more than 115 million views. It has now caught the attention of very powerful voices in America. Here in Minnesota, we are asking leaders what is going on and what the impact of that video had.
Okay. Look, guys, you have to understand the language that she's using. First of all, that looks like the freaking Arctic from a Floridian. Absolutely not. I have to say it. But now let's continue. Fraud, guys, this is akin to your girlfriend or your husband cheating on you, and you catch them cheating on you, and then it's like, I've been cheating on you for 10 years. Why are you so upset? I mean, the neighbor knew, your girlfriend knew. I mean, like, why are you so upset? I don't understand. We've known for 10 years. I mean, literally, that is what they're saying on CNN. This is not new fraud. We have known about it for so long. For so long, we have been plagued by this in Minnesota, and yet you still had the policies in place to enable it. This isn't difficult. And again, this is why I'm going to keep on hitting this. Again, we're not even to the bombshell nuke torpedo thing yet. This is yesterday's bombshell and nuke. They're popping off everywhere. It's like thermonuclear war. Good movie. All right. This is the thing. If you've been so bad for so long, why are you upset as the media or the Democrats that someone would dare talk about it? Right? If you had Minnesota being fraudulent for this exact same thing for 10 years, and now it's to the tune of $18 billion, and your argument is a mixture of, well, I mean, it's been going on for 10 years, so why are we even upset about it or talking about it? I mean, that's not a big deal. And then the other argument from leading lefties on the progressive side is, yeah, I mean, California's worse. Like, what? What's the issue? Methinks there's a problem in the system. Just saying. All right, let's keep on going. See, I told you that was going to be fun. All right, now we get to have some real fun. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, it was War Games. It wasn't thermonuclear war. That was the game in the movie. You're right. It was called War Games. Great job, guys. Great job. You guys you're always on it. All right, people. We are moving right along. This is what happens when you actually have someone who's going to do something. Like, for the love of God. We've already seen the Small Business Association freeze all the loans, the money, federal money going to Minnesota. We've seen Health and Human Services doing the same thing. Well, now the Trump administration officially froze all child care payments to Minnesota following the reports of major fraud. This isn't even the torpedo and the nuke that I'm talking about. Again, that's coming in a minute. Tim Walz has received a demand letter from Health and Human Services ordering a full audit of potentially fraudulent child care centers. How do you think that's going to go? It's so rampant, they've known for 10 years. It's so incumbent in the system that it's not even a surprise anymore. What do you think a letter asking for an audit of everything is going to reveal? Less or more? You guys can tell me in the comments in the chat. Because once the roaches start scattering, they start scattering quickly. And it's not good. Over the shoes, up the leg, it's not great. But this is the most recent thing. And by the way, this guy, this is just funny. I'm sorry. This guy has the camera presence of a shoe. I mean, like, I'm just going to say it. Watch this. Just being honest.
Hello. I'm HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill. I'm here with Assistant Secretary Alex Adams. Alex oversees the Administration for Children and Families. Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
My office, ACF, provides Minnesota $185 million in child care funds each year. That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants. Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children. Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF child care payments across America. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment. Second, I have just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers. This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov.
Okay, you guys get the idea. Hold on, let me fix this because that video was unusually muted. All right, here we go. So they're opening up hotlines for everyone to call and rat everybody out, which I'm kind of down with. I mean, hey, why not? They do it on lefties, or they do it on the people who don't want to get the Fauci ouchie. Why can't we do it for actual fraud? I'm just saying, especially in Minnesota. So the guy with the shoe, well, the person, the camera presence of his shoe. Again, I'm not trying to be mean to him. It's just, I mean, like objectively, like the dudes. I mean, okay, they're freezing all the money. They're freezing all the assets. They're opening investigations. They're opening hotlines. I mean, like, where do you think this is gonna go? And the big defense is, but other states are doing it worse that are blue. Okay, I'm so here for this. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, guys, we're going to continue on. Hey, look, happy lady. This is the part we're going to shift gears a little bit. And I got to get a super chat real quick because I saw a couple super chats I got to catch up on. And I owe you guys the super chats. I do not want to be remiss in my duties. All right, hold on a second. Super chat from Patrick Parker for $2 says, hey, Braden, I just wanted to say hello, or hi. Hello, Patrick Parker, 1814. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the engagement, guys. You're keeping this alive. Patch forward. Wow, the words. The number doesn't matter. Patch, $1.99. How much was going to the Clinton Foundation? Probably like, oh man, I was going to try to make a 13 hours joke, but 13%. All right, another super chat, last one. The only arrest that had been done in Minnesota is for COVID fraud and not other fraud. Minnesota is a duty treat state. I think that was supposed to be Minnesota is a duty to retreat state. Yes, fact. All right, guys, thank you for that. We are caught up. Keep the comments coming. We are going to make this a show to remember. All right, to this happy lady. Now, what could make her so happy, you ask, on Good Morning America? Well, you'd think it would be Donald Trump sucks. Well, turns out that whole affordability economy thing really's backfired on Team Blue. They had a good run of it about a month and a half. It was pretty good. Watch this, and then I'm going to show you some other stuff that's going to make them literally pull their hair out. Go, lady. Come on.
What's some good news for those of us hitting the road for the holidays? Gas prices, they're dropping nationwide, and this is for the 5th consecutive week. So Elizabeth Schulze is here with more. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning, Malika. So this is really welcome news for the more than 100 million Americans hitting the roads during the holidays. Gas Buddy says the national average price for a gallon of gas down for the 5th straight week. So it's now $2.75. That's down 23 cents in 1 month. In 40 states, average gas prices are now below that $3 mark. Now, we do tend to see prices this time of year. That's because generally demand does go down. People are parked during the holidays. School is out. Oil production is also up, which does help keep prices low. Gas Buddy says we could start to see prices tick up in about 6 weeks, but bottom line for now, cheapest December for gas prices in 5 years.
Okay, so that's some good news here.
Okay. So, yeah, cheapest gas prices in December in about 5 years. Well, that's uncomfortable if you made your entire campaign pitch affordability. Just saying. All right, let's keep on going. We got even more, but guys, the hair pulling is about to start, and we're building up to the big bombshell at the end, and I'm so excited. By the way, someone gave me some crap because I use bombshell a lot. I really like the word bombshell. We could say minefield. I could say torpedo. Something that explodes. Thermonuke. I don't know. We'll land on it. But I'm going to go Bombshell right now. Just kind of letting you know my thoughts. Morning consults. Consumer Sentiment Index reaches its highest level since early June. Here, hold on. Let me buckle in here real quick for you, because there's a reason I'm showing you this. Wow. I'm no mathematician, but that looks like an upward trend. A pretty significant upward trend. Probably unrelated. Probably not related at all to the White House administration. Let's keep on going. All right, this is the part where they get to start pulling their hair out, guys, and then we're gonna dive into what they just dropped. So, as I've mentioned, the GOP is starting to get into the trolling game on X, and I'm really freaking here for it because they're really getting pretty good at it. Over 50% of voters approve of President Trump. Whoa, wait a minute. Flag on the play, timeout, pause, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, notify, of course, on comments, chats, and emojis. This can't be right. Y'all, we were told, we were guaranteed. Everyone hated that guy. I mean, like, he's the devil. I mean, he smells like sulfur when he walks by. I mean, like really bad, like sulfur-like. Like, he's Satan. He's Satan in a blazer. And yet, for some reason, 50% of voters approve at the same time that gas is going down, rent is going down, mortgages are going down, interest rates are going down, inflation's going down. That is bizarre. It's almost like people see results and they're like, maybe this guy's pretty awesome. I'll give credit where credit's due, and I'll give feedback where feedback is due. I'm going to be clear and transparent with you. Credit is due a little bit right now. Just saying. All right, so now let's keep on going because, again, you can always find something to be a little gray rain cloud about, but I'm going to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot in this moment. Breaking. Democrats are in a state of shock after President Trump's approval rating at the end of 2025 was found to be plus 6 points. Oh my God. Could you imagine being a Democrat, like going against Donald Trump over the last decade? All you've got is the man is evil. And he's orange man bad, and he keeps on kicking your butt no matter where you go, no matter what you do, and everything you say, he basically disproves you. Could you imagine doing that for a decade? And your entire personality and entity is based on resistance of this guy right here, but he still keeps winning. That has got to be like Dante's like 4th level of hell. I mean, like, that's got to be like real bad. I'm just saying, it can't be good. Super chat from EF, $5 says the 50% approval pick looks like my dad when I got in trouble and he's pointing at the stupid thing that I did. I'm going to go back to it. That's actually really good look. That's actually true. That is totally you're in trouble dad vibes. That's a good call out. I appreciate it, EF. I appreciate it. Let's keep on trucking. We have got some things to get to. Oh, I'm so excited to get to this part. Okay, that's the cool part. That's fun. Yeah, there's another one. Same thing. How about this one? Oh, here we go. Listen. I'm about to crack open a truth shell for you guys real quick. We're going to set this up properly. And this is the part that I really hope you guys are still tuned in for. Hope you're ready to pay attention. You got the popcorn. You got everything ready. Your subscribe's on. Your notification bell's on. You got the chats, the comments, the emojis flying as fast as your little fingers can fury. Because what we're about to cover right now is a whole brand new thing that they just dropped. Now, you remember that the big affordability push was based in rent prices and mortgage prices. Also gas, also groceries, basically all the consumables that people were doing. And then 2.2 million illegal immigrants, what the heck was that? Illegal immigrants leave the country, whether their own volition or they were helped. And then all of a sudden pricing goes down because consumption goes down. This is not hard, right? I mean, it's really not difficult. You have less people consuming the same amount of finite goods and the price is going to go down. It's simple supply and demand. However, the housing thing, particularly with rent, I find very fascinating. Listen to this, because a lot of the things that happened during the Biden administration were due to artificial toying with the economy, artificially jacking up prices because of government influence. You can look at them, they're about to hit on the mortgages that the illegal immigrants were getting through the FHA application process, which is illegal. They stopped that. You can look at all the different regulations that they put forward for the car manufacturers, which would have put them out of business or produced cars that made no sense at all. And now they stopped doing that, and they actually make cars that, quote, consumers want to buy. Weird. Let me play this. That's the lead into this. And then I'm going to show you what they just dropped, okay? Listen to this. This is the backstory. This is what you need to know to get into this.
You know, during the Biden administration, there were over 12 million illegal aliens that came over the border, straining our housing supply and making the costs go up. And so we work with Secretary Noem at DHS, as you alluded to make sure that only American citizens are living in HUD-funded housing. We also...
Okay, why is that controversial at all? In fact, why is that even a necessary step to take? You know what? I'm going rolled up sleeves on this one. Why is that even necessary to just say, hey, look what we did? Why did it happen in the first place? American tax dollars should probably go to housing and feeding Americans, not anybody else. Sorry, maybe I'm callous, but I care a lot more about our country than I do about anybody else until our country is fully taken care of. That seems to be pretty base level. But you had all of these expenditures in FHA going into helping people buy houses, which jacked the prices of housing up for American citizens. And they weren't even supposed to be doing it. It's because you had a massive influx of consumption. This is not extremely difficult economics, okay? Anyway, that's what he's saying. The increase in okay, I'll turn the audio back up on this next one. I'll jack it up a little bit. But you have to understand, when we're talking about the big concern here, it was all around the actual consumption, okay? Housing and rent. That's what he's talking about. This is housing and urban development. Go.
Took away FHA-backed mortgages from illegal aliens during the Biden administration. They turned a blind eye. But we're going to keep the law to make sure that these mortgages, which are backed by the taxpayer, go only to the American people. And lastly, we are mandating that every public housing authority give us a comprehensive account who's living in every unit in taxpayer HUD-funded housing.
Wow. Another actually...
Okay, that is an incredibly important piece of this, because that's just the setup, okay? We are demanding a list and an audit and an accounting of who is living in housing and urban development, okay? They're asking who is currently there. Let me zoom up a little bit. Breaking. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Turner has discovered $5 billion in potential fraudulent payments to illegals and to dead people. Rampant rental assistance fraud was found in, oh my God, New York City, DC, and other blue cities. This was a Biden program, so Biden's HUD secretary should be arrested. Now, that's Nick Sorter's reporting on the opinion on they should be arrested. But this is a Biden-era program that now has even more fraud put into the bills that they passed. I'm shocked that this trend of fraud anywhere blue touches keeps happening. It's really weird. It's almost like it's, what's the word? A plan. I mean, honest to God. Let's keep on going. I got even more for you. 30,000 dead people receiving housing isn't an accident. It was systemic fraud by Biden and the left. Housing and Urban Development will hold those who defrauded the American taxpayers accountable. Y'all, that is from December 30th. That is from this morning. 30,000 dead people receiving housing isn't an accident. Okay. You have to understand, and then I'm going to show you the documentation to support this. I got lots of stuff we got to break through because this is the big part of this. When you are looking, let me fix everything that I had to, there we go. When you are looking at what is revealing itself across the board, it comes down to one word: accountability. Every single person watching this wants the accountability because every single person watching this knows something stinks to high heaven. That is the reason Donald Trump was elected. That is the reason that the belief in the politicians, the political system, the reason that the belief that voting doesn't matter, totally does, by the way. All of those things exist is because everyone knows there's fraud and BS detectors are going off like sirens, like my freaking fire alarms in live streams, and no one's doing anything about it. That's the whole point. Now, you've got Minnesota, you got California, you got New York, you got DC, and now you got the the Federal Housing and Urban Development finding out 30,000 dead people are receiving housing, and it's not by accident. It was a Biden-era program. The high point of woke mind virus, like the fever pitch. Okay, let's keep on going. I got more for you guys. This is the part where you need to start really commenting, emoting. Sure. And then sharing it out. Again, I don't script these things. I just go off the cuff. Let's go. Watch this. All right, so the $5 billion in questionable rental assistance under Biden revealed, including to thousands of deceased tenants and non-citizens, HUD report. And I've got the report. I always bring the receipts. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Washington. A U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development report found more than $5 billion in taxpayer funds went to questionable rental assistance recipients during the final year of the Biden administration. $5 billion in 1 year, including around 30,000 deceased tenants and thousands of potential non-citizens. I wonder where all the money's going. Everyone knows it. Your BS detector never lies. Your gut never lies. Hello? You can't see this, right? Okay. HUD officials said a large concentration of the suspicious payments went to New York, California, and Washington, D.C., with dead recipients getting at least some funds in all 50 states in what federal officials are calling widespread abuse of taxpayer dollars under the Biden administration. A massive abuse of taxpayer dollars not only occurred under President Joe Biden's watch, but was effectively incentivized by his administration's failure to implement strong financial controls, resulting in billions worth of potential improper payments, Housing and Urban Development Secretary Scott Turner said in a statement. Hey, here's where it starts all blending together. Does that language sound very familiar to you? Effectively incentivized by his administration's failure to implement strong financial controls, resulting in billions worth of potential improper payments. Because that's exactly the language that we got from Minnesota. It's concerning that there was a lack of guardrails for these state level programs. Yes, very concerning. Personally, I'm shocked there were no guide rails. Hey, you guys know what else? Oh, I'm so about to poke the dragon with this one. I don't care. Let's do it. You know what's weird? I also seem to remember some large major event, country shifting event in 2020 around something that rhymes with a schmishmection, right around November, where it wasn't that anyone did anything nefarious. They just loosened the rules and didn't have guide rails. It's almost like the trend of abuse is coming from a lack of oversight and a lack of guardrails, and it consistently happens with things like voting and with like money and like elections. That is weird. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think in the comments on that one. Let's keep on trucking before I get, booted out and, like, bad things happen. All right, let's keep on going. Yeah. Stop it, New York Post. HUD's Office of Chief Financial Officer uncovered $5.8 billion of the questionable payments out of nearly $50 billion in total federal assistance. $5.8 billion, so 10% or plus of fraud. 10% plus. In federal rental assistance to public housing authorities, contractors, landlords, and other non-federal entities in the fiscal year 2024, the 183-page report disclosed. I've got the report in a second. Guys, do you understand what this level of artificial inflation of money and capital going into these areas would do to rent prices? It would artificially inflate rent prices. So you would have your rent going up for some inexplicable reason. The left is over here going, see, the mean evil landlords and capitalism is to blame because they're raising rents on everybody, when the federal government under the Biden administration was freaking pumping cash into it, artificially inflating the housing market and the rental market. This is not difficult. This is exactly what they were doing. Personally, I'm glad they're coming out with this stuff. I want more of it. By the way, I hope you're enjoying this. I'm getting to the spicy point. I had to roll my sleeves up. The around 11% of taxpayer dollars from HUD went to more than 200,000 possibly ineligible tenants, of whom 29,715, around 14%, were dead, 4% were non-citizens, and 82% were receiving sums that exceeded the threshold for assistance in their geographic region, particularly in New Orleans and large metro areas. Do you know how easy it is to put a limit on literally a website application that says you can't go above this threshold for any user in this region? It takes 4 seconds. The lack of guide rails was an intentional neglect of simple oversight. It's not hard. This is how you redistribute wealth without ever trying to go through Congress to do redistribution of wealth. That's how you do this. I think that's all I got on that one. Oh, no, I have more. More yellow. The more than 200,000 tenants were flagged for eligibility issues. As part of the $105 billion in payments to HUD, while roughly $4.3 billion of all these payments also had eligibility issues. Okay, the dude's bringing down price. Yeah, that guy right there. He's got policies that are bringing down prices. He's got policies that are bringing down energy. He's got policies that are cutting 139 to 1 the regulation ratio right now. We did a video on it. It's incredible. You got this level of fraud being not only exposed, but also corrected. And it's being called out and investigations are being opened. Yo, I'm running out of reasons why I'm pissed. Honest to God, this is in 12 months. Anyway, let's keep on going. I've got the actual document. I always bring the receipts. Here we go. This is the receipt. This is the message from the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. This is the actual document report. Because I always bring said receipts, as I mentioned. Here we go. We're going to hit these 2 little points. I'm going to zoom in. Don't worry. This is really important. Whoa, not that far. Not that far, Braden. All right. For too many years, put on my best narration voice, public housing was treated as a permanent solution rather than a temporary support to help the American people. Outdated regulations and excessive ideologically motivated federal intervention constrained local decision-making, increased costs, limited housing supply, and weakened HUD's ability to meet statutory objectives. These conditions created inefficiencies and failed to steward American taxpayer dollars. Let me translate that from those flowery words. They did fraud. They took away guide rails. They were being bad stewards of your money, and they were handing out to anybody who wanted without any oversight. That's what that means. And also, at the same time, they managed to jack up prices for everybody else. So all those 18, 19, 20, 25-year-olds who couldn't afford rent, had to live in the parents' basement, had to feel really inadequate with themselves because they weren't doing something right. Yeah, it's because the federal government artificially inflated the entire housing market. This is not capitalism bad. This is the intervention of heavy-handed liberal policies bastardizing capitalism is what's happening. I could do entire episodes on that. In fact, I might make a subcategory of that for my channel. Let's continue. God, I'm getting a little spicy. Since the start of this administration, I gotta put my narration voice back on. Housing and Urban Development has restored accountability and realigned programs with their intended purpose. Housing affordability remains a top priority. Manufactured housing plays a critical role in meeting this need, and HUD is modernizing standards and removing outdated regulatory barriers to support efficient, affordable production to help lower costs and improve access to the American dream of home ownership. You know what? Good. And also, I'd like to add a little bit of an add-in right there. The number one wealth generating tool and item in the United States historically is home ownership. You buy a house, you pay for the house through a long time, and you generate wealth through the appreciation of the asset as well as your down payment that you're paying into it. That's how this works. But the generation that we are coming out of, the millennials, the ones that I was on the very tip end of, right, the very front end, they're all not getting the access to that entry level because they artificially inflated all these prices. Please send this stuff out to younger people because this is the stuff that they were doing which directly impacts them. It wasn't some obscure nationality anywhere in the United States or in the world, excuse me. It wasn't some foreign entity. It wasn't anything except liberalism and socialism completely screwing you like it always does. That's what you're dealing with. Goodness gracious, getting all spicy. Super chat from Single Shot with a $1.99. I appreciate the engagement, guys. I hope I'm landing this plane because this stuff is infuriating to me. And it's not infuriating because it's a team red, team blue thing. What's infuriating to me is it impacts an entire generation of kids, of people, the people who are right behind me. I could have gotten this. I could have caught this. And millions of people could have, and they're being led down a different path on the internet right now of finding why the issues are existing, all avoiding the actual issue, which is insane government intervention. It's just, oh God, it's so maddening. I caught the liberalism woke virus on the front end. I got the everything's my fault because I look like this. But these kids got smoked by the Biden administration and the woke policies. Absolutely smoked. Oh, speaking of smoking, here comes Scott Jennings. Okay. Super chat. One Dirty Bird, $2. And my home was foreclosed on. I'm really pissed. I'm really sorry that happened to you, dude or dudette, man or woman. It's only those two options. But I'm sorry that happened to you. That sucks. I apologize for you. That sucks, man. That's no good. Hopefully, you're back on your feet. That's the best I can give to you. All right, now let's get into Scott Jennings here. Guys, thank you for the emojis, the chats, the comments. I am... Bam Bondi's taking a nap. She needs her nap. She's got like 8 different media hits to do. That's tiring. All right. A little poke the bear. Here we go. Scott Jennings. I love this guy. He just delivers like a backhand with a smile. And who doesn't love that? All right, Scott, take it away.
I'm not arguing for it. I'm just saying it's not a millionaire tax. It's a billionaire tax. And the idea would be, I guess, to use that revenue in order to offer improvements for the average Californian.
Worth debating. Why pick $1 billion? Why in Washington did you pick $1 million? Why don't you pick 999,999? Why not pick 500,000? Why pick 5%? Why not 6? Why not 10? Why not 20? Why not 50? The thing is, it's all arbitrary just to attack people that we hate. And it is not for the public benefit. In California, the state auditor just found $70 billion in fraud going on in the state. The reason they need a wealth tax is to cover up the fraud. The hole in the budget in California is due to fraud. That's why they're trying to tax these people.
Okay, first of all, you guys know how I love nonverbals. That woman's name is Emma. I can't remember her last name. Vageland, I think, maybe. Doesn't matter. She's a far lefty. She's, real angry, real ragey. But here's the thing. When you see their body language result in like a convulsion where it's like it's biting your tongue, you're like wincing. Like, you got some rage you're choking down. You might want to work on that before you go on CNN to espouse your beliefs of your side. Because it comes out as very, very just ragey, honestly. But he's got a valid point. It's an incredible point. Hey, we're short on our budget. Is it because of fraud? Well, yeah. Well, how do we do that? Stop the fraud? No. We'll just take more money from the rich people. Duh. Like every communist and socialist would do. We can't say, hey, fraud, stop. That would be uncomfortable. That would be sad. Imagine the feels. Imagine those people's feelings. How we would say, you did fraud. And they would say, ouch, it hurts. And then we don't want that. So we can't do that. So we're just going to take more people's money and assets. Like, it doesn't make sense on any level. Not even a child would be like, oh, that makes sense. I've got children. It doesn't make sense at all. Good God. Good God almighty, people. Oh, I saw a super chat or two come through. I got to make sure I get those. I owe you guys. Single Shot with $1.99 says, I want to see those people behind bars. Well, yeah, of course. Absolutely. MP with a $2 super chat says, Polis raised taxes on insurance. Yes, that is the governor of Colorado. Yes, he absolutely did. Here's the thing, guys. They're always going to find a way to raise taxes. They're always going to find a way to take more money from people. That's what they do. It's the easy. It's much easier on a big, broad scale to go, ooh, look, the people who have there's a smaller amount of people who have more money, so let's go hit them a little bit harder because they're the big, bad, evil people, and they can't defend themselves as easily in the political sphere, because grab your knives and pitchforks is a lot easier than saying, stop doing fraud. I mean, we're at a point in our nation where it's like, can we just stop doing fraud? I mean, like maybe, I don't know, just call me crazy. Maybe incentivize a few things like, I don't know, businesses, starting businesses. Maybe get the government out of artificially inflating housing prices, car prices, rental prices. I don't know, maybe it seems rudimentary to me, but it seems like that might be a way to go. But I'm just a guy on the internet. Listen, I hope you guys have enjoyed that. That was a 42-minute stream. I think we landed the plane. Let me know if I landed that plane in the comments, the chats, the emojis. I love each and one of you. Whatever, it's 42 minutes in. I love all of you a whole lot. Just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. Thank you for dealing with my shenanigans in a live stream. 40 minutes, and I tend to make mistakes sometimes, but that's okay because we're all real, and it's all part of the experience of being this amazing America. All right, listen. You guys have an amazing day. We're going to get back to it tomorrow. See you then. Where's the button? There's the button.